Don Jr., he's so embarrassing. He's on the stand. He's testifying in this $250 million fraud trial, and he has to compliment. He said his father is an artist with real estate. You have Donald Trump Jr., who was in court again this morning. There he is. You hear the protesters chanting, crime family, and that is basically what these people are, a crime family. The father of hotel gyms. He said, maybe someone put a gym in a building somewhere, but no one did it at the scale of my father. He's saying that his father, the father of the hotel gym, is a guy who's never stepped inside one.
And the next 15 minutes, you'll see exactly how Jimmy Kimmel's Safari skit portraying the Trump brothers became a pivotal moment in the evolution of political comedy. We'll analyze the precise visual techniques, dialogue choices, and satirical frameworks Kimmel employed to deliver criticism that resonated far beyond his traditional audience. We'll then reveal how Trump's response, demanding federal investigations rather than simply ignoring the sketch, triggered the Streisand effect, amplifying the very criticism he sought to suppress. Through expert interviews with media scholars and comedy writers, you'll gain analytical tools to recognize when comedy transcends entertainment to become political persuasion. Quick favor before we move on. If you appreciate this content, consider giving this video a like and subscribing to the channel. Believe it or not, more than 92% of viewers haven't subscribed yet. It's free and only takes a second, but it means the world to us. So did you subscribe already? Great. Thank you so much for your support. Now back to the video. Remember when late night television served primarily as a showcase for celebrity interviews and lighthearted comedy? For decades, this format defined the genre, with hosts like Johnny Carson maintaining a deliberate political neutrality to ensure broad audience appeal. These programs functioned essentially as promotional platforms where stars could discuss upcoming projects while hosts carefully sidestepped controversial issues that might alienate viewers across the political spectrum.
A big five accounting firm, like one of the biggest accounting firms in the world, I can pay them millions of dollars. I rely on them to do accounting, but I'm supposed to know more than them. By this logic, insurance companies are going to start suing patients.
The amount of ass-kissing in this trial is insane. DJ TJ, of course, denies any and all wrongdoing and is instead going with the "our accountants did it" defense.
For listening to their doctors. Right? Do you understand? Like, am I supposed to know more? Oh, Don Jr. doesn't know anything about it. I'm not an accountant. I'm a business guy.
The 1990s marked the beginning of a significant transformation in this established model. Bill Maher emerged as one of the first prominent hosts to incorporate more pointed political commentary into his programming, directly challenging the conventional wisdom that late-night television should remain ideologically neutral. This initial departure from tradition set the stage for more profound changes in the decades to follow, as the boundary between entertainment and political discourse began to erode. The terrorist attacks of September 11, 2001 proved to be a pivotal moment in this evolution. In the aftermath of this national trauma, figures like Jon Stewart and David Letterman made a consequential decision to abandon their usual comedic detachment. Instead, they addressed the tragedy and its implications directly, speaking to viewers with unexpected emotional candor. This response established an important precedent. Late-night hosts could serve not just as entertainers, but as cultural commentators during moments of national significance.
Tell me how they fit into all of this.
They don't fit into all of this. What have they been asking the kids? It's very simple. They'll ask the kids, did you give a value to somebody? Did you do something? And everybody said resoundingly no.
And with all the complaining the Trumps do about this trial playing out in the media, you could barely even turn the channel without seeing their lawyer doing an interview with somebody.
And these kids did nothing wrong. They should not be in this case. Ivanka's already out of the case. The boys should not be in the case.
That's right. They're just boys. They're kids. Eric has a book report due this weekend.
This transformation accelerated dramatically during the 2008 presidential election. Tina Fey's portrayal of Sarah Palin on Saturday Night Live transcended mere comedy to become a cultural phenomenon with measurable political consequences. Studies revealed that her impressions actually influenced voter perceptions, demonstrating that comedy could function as a legitimate vehicle for political messaging with tangible electoral impact. The line between entertainment and political influence had become increasingly blurred. word. By the time the 2016 election cycle arrived, the transformation was complete. Hosts including Stephen Colbert, Seth Meyers, and Jimmy Kimmel had repositioned political commentary as the central element of their programming rather than an occasional diversion. Politics was no longer treated as supplementary material, but had become the primary content focus around which their shows were structured. This shift reflected a fundamental change in how these programs conceptualize their purpose and audience.
Don and Don Jr. had some father and son event this weekend. They went to the UFC fight at Madison Square Garden. There they are. Trump's being cheered on. He's got Dana White there. He's got Tucker Carlson in the back. He's got Kid Rock in tow. And by the way, Donald Trump's older sister, Marianne, the former judge, died this morning. They found her unresponsive in her apartment. She was 86 years old. So far today, Trump has posted lashing out at the witch hunt. Don Jr. was thrilled to be a part of the group. He posted this picture of him and Tuck cackling in their blue checker print shirts. A couple of banana Republicans right there.
This evolution didn't occur in isolation, but corresponded with broader changes in media consumption patterns. Audience research indicated that viewers increasingly turned to late-night programming not merely for entertainment, but specifically seeking political affirmation aligned with their existing beliefs. The fragmentation of media had created an environment where neutral entertainment held less appeal than content that reinforced viewers' political perspectives. The Trump presidency served as a powerful catalyst for this transformation. Nielsen ratings data revealed remarkable viewership increases for segments that specifically targeted the administration, creating clear economic incentives for networks and hosts. The financial rewards for political content were simply too significant to ignore, further cementing the new late-night paradigm where politics dominated the conversation. What emerged from this three-decade evolution was a fundamentally different type of late-night television. These programs had transformed from relatively neutral entertainment vehicles into significant political forces capable of shaping public discourse. Hosts discovered that pointed political commentary consistently generated stronger audience engagement than traditional celebrity interviews, permanently altering the calculation about what content should dominate late-night programming. This transformation from entertainment to political force is perhaps nowhere more evident than in Kimmel's Safari skit targeting the Trump brothers. While appearing as standard late-night comedy on its surface, this segment represented a masterclass in multi-layered political critique disguised as entertainment, with consequences that extended far beyond traditional television ratings. The visual foundation of the skit established its satirical framework immediately by dressing the Trump brothers in what Kimmel deliberately termed colonizer chic outfits with price tags visibly attached. The production team created a striking visual metaphor for inherited privilege disconnected from real-world experience. Eric Trump appeared in a comically oversized pith helmet, while Don Jr. wore a vest with more pockets than he had brain cells, creating immediate visual shorthand for the audience about the segment's underlying message about entitlement and competence. What elevated the skit beyond simple mockery was its sophisticated dialogue construction. Rather than relying on direct political statements, the writers embedded substantive criticism within seemingly innocent exchanges about wildlife encounters. The pivotal moment when Eric mistakenly identified a giraffe as a long-necked elephant served dual purposes, generating immediate laughter while reinforcing public perceptions about the Trump brothers' knowledge deficits and privilege. The segment's effectiveness stemmed from its layered approach to political messaging. Surface-level humor about safari misadventures masked deeper commentary on environmental policy and legal accountability. The production team borrowed techniques from documentary filmmaking, strategically juxtaposing the brothers' exaggerated ignorance against factual conservation statistics displayed on screen, creating cognitive dissonance that reinforced the segment's political undercurrents. Media analysts have identified the Talking Lion segment as particularly sophisticated by adopting a children's entertainment format. Complete with an animated speaking animal, the skit delivered pointed critique of the Trump administration's environmental record through a disarming medium. This approach allowed for substantive policy criticism while maintaining the appearance of lighthearted comedy, effectively smuggling political commentary into entertainment packaging. The production team made a strategic decision to focus criticism on the Trump brothers rather than directly attacking former President Trump himself. Comedy writers noted this approach created a proxy target that still effectively delivered the intended political message while providing a degree of separation that made the critique less confrontational. This indirect approach ultimately proved more effective than direct attacks would have been, as it allowed viewers to draw their own connections between the brothers' portrayed incompetence and the administration's policies. The skit's remarkable remarkable reach beyond Kimmel's traditional audience resulted from its deliberately modular design. Individual moments were extracted as short clips optimized for social media sharing, facilitating viral spread across digital platforms. This structure allowed the content to transcend traditional broadcasting limitations, reaching demographics that might never watch late-night television but would encounter the segments through social media algorithms. As Kimmel's digital strategy propelled his Safari skit across platforms, it was about to receive an unprecedented boost from an unexpected source, the very subject of its criticism. When Donald Trump shifted from his standard celebrity counterpunching to demanding federal regulatory action against a comedy show, he activated a cross-platform amplification system that would ultimately increase the sketch's visibility by over 600%, demonstrating how political power can backfire spectacularly in the modern media ecosystem. Initially, Trump responded with his familiar playbook of social media posts dismissing Kimmel as unfunny and failing, defensive tactics that might have contained the controversy within normal parameters of celebrity feuding. Had he stopped there, the skit would likely have completed a typical viral life cycle before fading from public attention. Instead, the situation took an extraordinary turn when Trump escalated beyond conventional criticism to demand formal FCC investigation of Kimmel's show. This unprecedented demand for regulatory intervention against a comedy program immediately transformed what had been entertainment commentary into a potential First Amendment controversy. Media monitoring revealed the regulatory threats generated 317% more news coverage than the original skit itself, creating what media scholars identify as a classic demonstration of the Streisand effect, a phenomenon where attempts to suppress information dramatically amplify its reach. The numbers tell a compelling story of this amplification cycle. Before Trump's regulatory demands, the Safari skit had accumulated approximately 3.8 million views across platforms, a successful but not exceptional performance. In the 72 hours following his threats, viewership surged to over 28 million, representing an explosion of audience exposure that would have been impossible through conventional promotion channels. Network analysis illuminates the mechanism behind this remarkable amplification. Trump's demands triggered what media researchers call a cross-platform reinforcement cycle. His initial social media posts generated mainstream news coverage, which in turn sparked broader social media discussion, prompting further news analysis, creating a self-perpetuating content ecosystem that continuously expanded the skit's audience. Perhaps most ironic was how Trump's specific objections to the skit's environmental conservation criticisms redirected additional attention to the very policy issues he presumably wanted to suppress. By highlighting particular aspects of Kimmel's commentary, Trump inadvertently elevated environmental policy concerns from background elements to central discussion points in subsequent coverage. This incident provides a clear illustration of how traditional media gatekeeping structures have collapsed in the digital age. Content now flows without friction between entertainment platforms, social media channels, and news outlets, with each environment amplifying and recontextualizing material as it travels. When a political figure with Trump's prominence attempts to suppress such content, he simply adds fuel to this cross-platform distribution system. The evolutionary impact on political communication cannot be overstated. What began as a modestly viral comedy segment transformed into a constitutional debate precisely because of the attempted suppression. This pattern has fundamentally altered how political messages propagate through media ecosystems, creating an environment where attempted censorship becomes the most powerful distribution mechanism. The Kimmel-Trump exchange exemplifies a new paradigm in American political discourse, where humor serves as the delivery mechanism for substantive critique. This evolving relationship between comedy and politics raises important ethical questions about the responsibilities comedians bear when they transition from mere entertainers to influential shapers of public opinion. Media scholars increasingly scrutinize this phenomenon, questioning whether late-night hosts have become de facto political operatives while maintaining the protective shield of comedy. What makes this dynamic particularly potent is how humor disarms viewers' cognitive defenses. When audiences laugh at politically charged content, they often absorb messaging without engaging the critical faculties typically employed when consuming traditional news media. This psychological mechanism enables comedy to function as an exceptionally effective vehicle for political persuasion in our fragmented information landscape. The significance of this shift extends beyond entertainment value. It fundamentally alters how citizens engage with political information. As media consumers, developing literacy and recognizing these persuasive techniques becomes essential for maintaining intellectual autonomy while still appreciating the artistic and entertainment value of political comedy in contemporary American discourse.